Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking you through what's growing in the backyard right now and one of the ways I use old olive jars. 10 weeks ago, I dug up and threw away every single one of my established dahlias. It broke my heart and it left my flower beds completely empty. And if that wasn't enough, the owners of my favorite nursery announced that they were retiring and closing up shop for good. So I scooped up 9 different perennials during their last sale, moved a few things around, and tried to fill up some of the empty space. Last year, the beds were overflowing and everything growing doubled as living mulch. But this summer, I expanded the existing beds, added 2 new planting areas, and added some much needed bark mulch to protect the new emptiness. By the end of summer, I'm typically burnt out on gardening, but this factory reset has already gotten me excited for next year. Today's a gift, that's why they call it the present. So I'll show you what the backyard looks like now, what I planted, and how I propagate to make more plants for free. And even though we're heading into winter, we've got plenty of ground to cover. I'll be sharing the history of this garden and all the backyard redesign projects I tackled over the summer and in previous years. So if you like watching realistic gardens growing and changing over time, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a video. This is penstemon that's old from the front yard that I've just been continuing to propagate. This is the native nodding onion, and it is dropping seed, which is great. Borage, of course, because I can't get rid of it. This is a purple echinacea. This is a lilac pink with white bee magic fountains delphinium. This is, of course, borage. More penstemon that's being taken over by borage. I might go ahead and thin some of this borage. Let's pull this one. And you can always just relocate these too. Like, you know, if you've got a gap somewhere, these will certainly fill in. I'm gonna make a little bit of room here. And then just always to make sure I'm packing in that soil so that the roots aren't trying to compete with air to get to soil. Okay, and then continuing on this back east bed, this is a hot lip salvia. More nodding onion, more borage. Luckily, some has already flowered and is super healthy, so even more borage, which is great for pollinators. I mean, it will grow anywhere, but this is super full, so that's good. This is an echinacea that's gone to seed, which I'll let the birds have a little bit more of that and then I'll go ahead and pluck it, but I have already processed some. Here's some more. Oh, this is actually a green onion. And then some more penstemon, which I've transplanted. This is super healthy, but it is looking for the light. So I think I might transplant it. I think I might just clear some of this borage out instead to give it some air and a chance to live. Listen to all those bees, can you hear them? They're down here on the floor borage. And this is good because this is kind of like a succession planting that it's doing on its own, because whenever some of this older flower dies back, hopefully these other will bloom. I'll just let the rest of that do its thing. This Velcro is part of my standard kind of gardening toolkit. Whenever I take some off of one plant, I shove it in here just so that I can reuse it. But this is how it comes normally, and actually I cut this down just so it would fit better in here. Some fertilizer in here as well. Okay, and luckily we have enough little Velcro to be able to use to tie this up, because it's not like we're tying up a huge tomato or something, but I always make sure to put the soft side inside. And for whatever reason, I don't really understand because I've never grown snow peas before, but the stems are always way thinner down at the bottom, which is just so, I don't know, the opposite of what, I don't know, typical is. Oh, this is broken. I'll go ahead and just snip this right below where it broke off. Try and get some of the tickweed out of it. That's so cute though that the curlies are trying to wrap around the tickweed. Okay, so we freed it from there. Let tickweed get out of the way. Hello. And then hopefully if nothing else interferes with it, it should understand what I'm wanting it to do. Okay, this is kind of bent right here, so I probably should have staked this up long ago. Cut one of these, a little bit smaller. I'm tying it really tight, so hopefully it will continue on its way. This tickweed is just something else, man. Uh-oh, I broke a piece. Also, all these pieces that I'm either finding broken or breaking myself, I will propagate. Cut this down where it's broken. And I'll show you how I do that, because right now I have the 1, 2, now a tick seed. Okay, I went inside and just put some water in an old jar. This is just an old Kalamata olive jar. I love these long skinny guys because, I don't know, it's just kind of rare. Just kind of a rarer jar. And I'm gonna go ahead and get these propagations in here because I don't want them to dry out. Depending on where the nodes start and stop, like this is a node, I'm gonna pull that and pull that and pull that, because that's kind of as deep as my water will go. Actually, let's give it even a fresher cut. And then anything above that, especially where it's already flowered, I'm gonna cut. And technically I could propagate that as well. So I'm gonna cut all this new growth, and you can also snip some of the longer leaves so that they'll focus on growing the leaves instead of the flower. And then you just stick it in water, and you wanna make sure that at least a couple nodes are inside the water. So this is 1 and then 2. And then this bendy guy, snip here to give it a fresh. And then also snip here. He definitely wants my water. Stop. He looks pitiful. And then I'll also snip here. And these areas where there once were leaves are, again, nodes, and that's what you want. That's where you want to start rooting. Okay. Okay, literally comment below if your cat is a pain in the ass about everything, but especially water. Go get your squirrel friends. I found him hovered over the sink last night drinking water out of an old coffee cup. Pitiful. Hey, excuse me. Big YouTube celebrity here. Okay, this is also a fresh flower, so we definitely want to snip that. I'm gonna snip these, and then I'm gonna snip all of the leaves in half so it can focus on establishing roots and not the flowers. But look how pretty these leaves are. And I'm gonna snip them. And I'm just snipping into my 5-gallon bucket that will end up in compost. Oh, actually, okay, so this broke off. So try to make sure that those 2 nodes are underwater for now. Hard to show, actually. Yeah, there we go. And then if you want more tick seed, any of this younger tick seed, snip these at the node. Trim all this, and then also, of course, the flowers. And then the leaves in half. Actually, we'll snip this right here. So that's just 1 node, but tick seed, I think, is really easy. Okay, so we'll move these out of the way and then get started staking this guy up. It's broken, so we will snip that and get that in some water. And one thing that's probably the smartest thing to do is wrap it and then cut if you got extra, but a fresh piece, just to make sure that I can get this lower part stabilized. All right, so we've got a fresh cut there, and then that looks pretty stable. Okay, I went and grabbed an extra stake. I'll actually move this since those jade beans weren't successful, but I will add a stake so that I can then tie this one up to it and give them enough room between each other, even though they're the same plant at the root. Give them enough room to be able to do their own thing. I'll tie this one pretty low. And then hopefully those tendrils will get the point. He's like, hey, where's that glass of water? This tick seed I'm actually just gonna go ahead and prune because it is relentless. It will grow back at that node though. We can propagate this. One node underwater, another node underwater. Clover, also relentless. Let's just try to pop them up. Hey, give me back my foil. That's what always helps you, so that's good. The Oregon Giant Snow Peas ×2. Very old bachelor's button. The tick seed, and then borage. This is some sort of salvia maybe. It's definitely setting seed, which is great. This is what a new echinacea looks like. This might be onion back here, which is so interesting. Borage, of course. Some super old echinacea that's setting seed that the birds are probably thoroughly enjoying. And then this is Shasta Daisy, which I'm leaving green just because it fills out so beautifully. And then this is a dragonfly sweet pepper. Has not been fertilized, but they're just so cute. Oh my goodness. Right next to them are those gorgeous zinnias that I grew from seed that look like frosty tie-dye. And then I am gonna replant those jade bush beans, but I'm gonna pre-germinate them instead of just sticking them in the ground. Of course, a lot of nodding onion. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe. And they're setting seed, which is great. Borage, and then my favorite, the jade bush beans, which I need to harvest. It's what, like 4 beans? It's a store-bought 8. This is a pepper that I've steady been harvesting from, but I have not fertilized, which could definitely use some fertilizer. And these have split. These were delicious heirlooms. And then these are the sun molds that I love. Is there anything better? I don't think so. We've also got basil, which I really do believe the old wives' tale, and I'm not sure, it might have already been proven by now, that they both benefit from growing next to each other. This is a hummingbird mint, and I'm not really sure what variety because at Little Red Farm they didn't have a tag on it, but it is just a bright, bright yellow. It will probably set seed soon, if it hasn't already. Not really sure. I'll have to look into how this sets seed. Oh, here's an old branch. I don't know, that all just looks like chaff to me, but so cute. And then this is a berry ice violet osteospermum, which also probably is gonna set seed. I'm not sure how it sets seed necessarily either. That also looks like all chaff to me. Not sure. And then a little nasturtium that is a volunteer that's at least 3 or 4 years old. This is that heirloom tomato that I propagated. This is all from one stem. This I'll also work on staking. Look how stunning. Oh. And continuing down this bed, there's a couple more echinacea to the right of this tomato, and then a couple Sylvia blue bayous that are just a stunning purple violet. And this purple echinacea I think is on its first year, even though it's a biennial. It did produce a teeny cutie little flower. And this is a Humboldt County fuchsia. It hasn't bloomed, but I did just buy it on sale a month ago. This is a Salvia Victoria Blue. Cutie, just bought it a month ago too. And then a bunch of lambs here. And then of course borage, because I can't get rid of it. And then this is, I think, penstemon of some sort. And then native nodding onions. Oh, here's another dahlia. Not sure what that is. And then if anybody knows what this is, will you please comment down below? I think it's possibly a hybridized salvia or hyssop. I did not plant this here, I just noticed it one day. The healthiest borage you've ever seen, let's be so real. A new anise hyssop. I do want to show the anise hyssop that's in the front yard because it's crazy. It's like the top layers have died back and then the bottom is just all new growth, and I don't think I've done anything to it. I think this is a tick seed that I split up. Yeah, there's a couple tick seeds that I got all from one plant that I bought. And then another one over there. So those will definitely survive through next year. Here's a borage that's absolutely smothering everything else. This was something that I didn't actually buy that came with something else. And same with this. And they were just stuck in the pot. Obviously the seeds have just snuck in there, but I figured let's give them a chance. And they all started even smaller than this. And I was like, well, why not? And if you're new to the channel, go check out my dahlia breeding tour update. It's where I go over all the dahlias I'm hand pollinating. I'm not sure if this second flush will survive, but I intend to wrap it up tonight. And of course, the late summer stunner, native Douglas aster. Okay, now this is all extended, what I'm calling house perimeter bed. So this is a gardenia that got transplanted that did set out a few new buds, but not a whole lot. But it's healthy, so after a transplant, that's all I care about. This is an anise hyssop, which I've heard you're supposed to grow by roses to help them with the disease. But I mean, with all the rain we've had, I don't know. A bunch of milkweed, which did not flower, but also got transplanted. And then these also were grown from seed. Or no, these I split off. Yeah, these were from my heirloom over there that I split off and rooted in water. And they're just as healthy as can be. Of course, it's gonna frost tonight. The unknown dahlia, which is struggling, asters, thumbelina zinnias. And then here's that Moulin Rouge. And then another tomato that was propagated. And then Moulin Rouge zinnia. This is just more thumbelina, I think, like safe seed from last year. Unknown aster, thumbelina. But these were planted late in the season. These are stunning. It almost looks like tie-dye. Just the gradient on that is like frost. Now it's got just all of the depth. And then we got a bunch of aster that will definitely self-seed, which is great. My mock orange not doing so well, which is shocking because it's a native. I'm not sure, I'll have to kind of look into that, but a bunch of just random zinnias sprinkled throughout. Thumbelina, this one is stunning. I did pick one the other day to put, or two I think, to put in an arrangement, but I'll definitely let these go to seed. And then also a propagated tomato in the mix. Oh, 2 tomatoes in the mix. Continuing down the side of the house perimeter bed, we've got a legacy blueberry. It's an evergreen variety, which is why I put it on the corner, a Chandler blueberry, and a Blue Jay blueberry. The newly seeded grass area, which definitely needs a water. And then this is, shockingly enough, the double knockout rose that is absolutely thriving over here in this messy corner. Like absolutely no disease whatsoever. And I would say it's because of the way the wind comes in, but maybe it is just because there's so much space around here that it's doing so well. And maybe it's because I'm not rooting for its demise, but you know, I'm not praying for it to survive. Maybe that's why it's doing so well. And then this got a hard prune the other day. This is just the OG deep red house rose is what I call it. No clue what it is, but it also thrives over here in this messy corner. Did plant a lot of seed over here with new irrigation and none of it survived. That's okay. Let me not walk through my fresh new grass. And if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it helps me out. The little flower girl zinnia from Floret, which I will let seed to collect. And then this is a Thumbelina that was collected from last year. Thumbelina, and then I think the little flower girl. It's hard to tell. But you see how these are just all the same color and they're all so little. And the stems are kind of longer. This is also a Thumbelina. Some cosmos that are setting major seed. A zinnia that got propagated and transplanted very late in the game that hasn't bloomed, but also, who cares? It's bird food. It's bug food, which is bird food. More seashell cosmos that were collected from seed last year. Same zinnia propagated, transplanted late. Typically zinnias, especially the Thumbelinas, are absolute units. So the only reason why these are so small is because they are very, very young plants. But this entire mulch bed and the edging is all new. And I promise I'll do a video on what I got up to this summer and how we got here. But for now, let's just enjoy these beautiful zinnias despite them being ravaged by bugs. They are all the Moulin Rouge variety from Renee's Garden. And they're different shapes and sizes, and again, mostly bug food at this point. Let's go check out my absolute favorite zinnia this year. These fluffy zinnias are open pollinated seeds that I'm assuming are a cross between Floret Little Flower Girls, Thumbelinas, and Peach Zinderellas. This is the youngest bloom, and you can see how it's just pink, pink, pink. It starts to fade a little bit into the apricot. This is the second youngest, and you can see how the pink really turns into apricot towards the bottom. And then you can see on the undersides of the petals that it becomes this gorgeous butter yellow. And then this is the third youngest, so the second oldest of the ones I'm gonna show you. And you can see how it has turned almost completely apricot, but it's still got a little bit of blush pink at the top. And then this is the oldest, and if you can believe it, this bloom is 6 weeks old. This is just stunning. It's hard to tell even on camera, but this is completely turned to apricot. It's got the tiniest whisper of that light pink within the inner florets, but all underneath has turned a gorgeous rich butter yellow. And then the undersides of the petals at the very bottom have turned this bright chartreuse green. Stunning. And I've already brought this bloom inside to dry it out and harvest the seeds. That's all for today, but I will show you guys soon my process for harvesting and drying out different seed types. And even though we're heading into winter, I still do have a lot of ground I want to cover, and I think I already have a good idea of things I want to share with you. But please let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you want to see. I'm going to be doing some planning for next year, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.